It's the latest test of an age-old question. Will a high-powered, high-scoring offense like New Orleans be stopped by a top 10 defense? We'll try and answer it for you today. Week 16 of the NFL on Fox as the New Orleans Saints visit the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Saints come in one of 4 teams fighting for the last 2 playoff spots in the NFC. Hello again, everyone. I'm Kurt Menefee along with my partner Tim Green. And Tim, the Saints are fighting for a playoff spot, but they've got to win both games first and then get some help.
The thing about the Saints, Kurt, is this is a team that goes hot and cold. When they're hot, they're very hot, and they have the ability, if they get into the playoffs, really, I think, to upset some people, because on offense, they've got Aaron Brooks, who is really got a great deep ball, very strong arm, and he's got a guy to throw it to in Joe Horn. And then running the football, Deuce McAllister right now leads the NFC. He's a big, strong, powerful runner that can also make you miss. So this is a viable offense.
But they do have to be concerned facing the 6th-ranked defense in Jacksonville, ranked number 2 against the run. But on the offensive side of the ball, the Jaguars also have their own set of triplets.
Well, yeah, they do, because they've got some offensive balance. Now, they went with the rookie quarterback, Byron Leftwich, but he's got a nice, strong arm. He's very mature for a rookie, and he's improved game by game. He's got Jimmy Smith to go to downtown. And then running the football, Fred Taylor, a very explosive guy who likes to break it to the outside. And this Saints defense, if they struggled in any area, it really has been containing the run. They're going to have to keep Fred Taylor boxed in if they're going to keep their playoff hopes alive.
All right, a reminder, as always, you can take part in today's Sprint Virtual Coach Poll, and you've got your choice of ways. You can either do like Joe Horn did and use your PCS Vision from Sprint, or do it the old-fashioned way and log on to foxsports.com. It's your choice. Back with the opening kickoff and a special ceremony here in Jacksonville when we continue on Fox.
Team on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Here in Jacksonville, where after 9 straight years, every year of the franchise's existence of being the only guy to begin the season as the starting quarterback, Mark Brunell took the field today knowing that this is the final time he'll be in Jacksonville as a Jacksonville Jaguar. And so a special ceremony to honor Brunell, as he was named one of the captains, even though he is the 3rd-team quarterback for this game. And he got a standing ovation from the crowd, and right now he joins on the sideline the 3rd of our crew, John Dunlap. Hey, John.
Hey, Kurt, how you doing? We're joined now by Mark Brunell. Obviously, this is your final game in a Jaguar uniform at home. Emotional moment, I guess it had to be, has it?
Yeah, very emotional. It's really nice. A lot of people out today, and just a way to say, for me to say thank you, get a chance and wave a little bit. And this has been home. It's been a great place. Alltel Stadium is wonderful, wonderful people, great community, and the city of Jacksonville. It's been great.
Now, obviously, your career is not going to be over as soon as the season's over. You're going to go on. Do you have what's left in the tank to do still?
Yeah, I want to play. I want to start, and I think I got 4 or 5 real good years left. I'm looking forward to getting on a team and making a run for that Super Bowl.
All right. Thanks very much, Mark. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
And we'll talk to you soon. Back up to you, Kurt and Tim.
All right, a lot of sentiment in this town for that guy who wears number 8.
Well, he's not only done a great job on the field, he's a community leader off the field and all the fine charity work that he's done. And not only a great quarterback throwing the ball, Kurt, but a lot of people forget how good he is at running the football.
Took this franchise to 2 AFC championship games. Well, the Jaguars with Mark Brunell out there as one of the captains have won the toss. Mitch Berger set to kick things off for the Saints. LeBrandon Tofield and David Allen deep to receive. There's Allen. And week 16 is underway. Allen from the 5-yard line. Runs out of real estate right at the 26. And that's where the new quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars will begin. Byron Leftwich, the rookie number 1 pick out of Marshall. Big group up front for him, which includes the former Saint number 1 pick, Chris Naoli, playing at right guard his 2nd season with the Jaguars. And you talked about this high-powered offense. Fred Taylor is the number 1 target for this Saints defense. Their defense coordinator, Rick Venturi, saying, we can't stop this team until we stop Taylor. The pitch to Taylor right away, and you see why as he picks up 5 yards on the first run. Well, the defense that will try and stop him Led up front by Darren Howard, Kenny Smith in the lineup in place of the injured Willie Whitehead, Jonathan Sullivan, and Charles Grant. The linebacking crew finally settled in after a couple of weeks of injuries. Rogers, Ruff, and Hodge. And in the secondary, their leading tackler is actually a safety, which is rare these days, Jay Bellamy, especially for a team that is in the playoff hunt. And there's Rick Venturi, that defensive coordinator we mentioned before, that is focused on Taylor. Leftwich's first pass caught by Kyle Brady, and the tight end will be stopped about 1.5 yards short of the first down by Derek Rogers.
The first play was to Fred Taylor, and I think you're going to see a lot of that, Kurt, this week. Last week against the New England Patriots, a lot of people, including Jack Del Rio, felt that the Jaguars offense got away from Fred Taylor, especially in the second half, and you need to have the consistency of running the football. It takes pressure off the young quarterback Leftwich.
On 3rd and short, they go with 2 tight ends. The hand is to Taylor, and Taylor hit at the line of scrimmage, but he falls forward for the first down.
If the Jacksonville Jaguars can continue to run a drive like this, this is exactly how they want to play this game. You hand the ball off to Taylor, you pick up 5. You go with a safe play action pass to the tight end, then you go short yardage, you pick it up first down. They don't want to take chances deep, although Byron Leftwich loves nothing more than to have someone race down the field and throw the deep ball to them.
And he's got good touch with that deep ball, too. Taylor picks up 2 yards on the short run. So already we've seen a heavy dose of Fred Taylor. 3 carries in the first 4 plays.
And you could see on this play here, Kurt, I talked about the Saints defense wanting to contain Fred Taylor, right? So here's Charles Grant, and you watch him. He keeps the outside position. He forces Fred Taylor back to the inside. Here he is right here. See the outside position there? And it's a nice job right there. And then there's Bellamy, the safety, building the 8-man front to make the tackle.
Leftwich from the shotgun. Underneath to Taylor, and they found a different way to put the ball in his hands, and he still picks up the first down. Gain of 8.
Leave it down, leave it down. Leave the ball down. I got you.
Well, Rick Venturi was worried about Fred Taylor. His worries proving to be true early on.
Well, Fred Taylor has got 45 and now 46 catches on the season. Last week, of course, he had the critical drop in the red zone against New England, wide open, about on the 5-yard line. Byron Leftwich lobbed it in there, and Taylor dropped it, and that taunted him and his team all week long.
First down at midfield. Chris Fuamatu-Ma'afala now in there, and you hear the chants of Foo, which is much easier to say than Fuamatu-Ma'afala. Gain of 4 on the play.
As I said from the beginning, the Achilles heel of this Saints defense has been stopping the run. And if you ask Rick Venturi, he'll say, well, a lot of it has come on plays where we've been spread out, nickel runs, you know, empty backfield, you know, those types of things. One guy in the backfield runs. Jacksonville right now just pounding away.
Coming on the blitz, they run it again. Fuamatu-Ma'afala will pick up just 1 yard on that play. But obviously running the football is the tack that Jacksonville wants to get established here early, and why not? I mean, this Saints defense comes in ranked 17th overall, but only 26 out of the 32 teams against the run.
Right, and the Saints' focus today defensively was, they said, we've got to stop Fred Taylor, and we've also, coverage-wise, we've got to really focus on Jimmy Smith. They wanted to roll coverage up to his side no matter where he was. They wanted to keep their cornerbacks over the top of Smith.
Taylor back in on 3rd down, needs the 40 for the first. Caught. Jimmy Smith's first catch down to the 33-yard line. Another Jacksonville first down.
Well, Fakir Brown is the cornerback who has the coverage. Now, he's got some help from Tabucky Jones behind him, so he actually has pretty tight coverage here. But you see Leftwich's confidence in Jimmy Smith, and you see why we've been talking about Jimmy Smith, why the Saints were focused on Jimmy Smith, because it doesn't take a very, very much space for him to get the ball, make the catch.
After the 11-yard pickup, first down, handoff, Fred Taylor. And Taylor is caught in the backfield, falls forward picks up 2 yards on the play. Jonathan Sullivan, the rookie out of Georgia, with the tackle. And this Jacksonville offense looking to score in his first possession, something that they haven't done much of all season long. As a matter of fact, neither of these teams have been able to put up points on the opening possession of the ball game. Ball on the 31-yard line. Leftwich. Intercepted. Ashley Ambrose with his 3rd interception of the year. And that stalls the opening drive by the Jaguars. Well, Saints cornerback Ashley Ambrose told us that the rookie quarterback tends to give away where he's going with his eyes.
Well, Ashley Ambrose just stepped right in front of Kevin Johnson, and Byron Leftwich really wasn't that bad of a pass, Kurt. It's just that Ambrose was more aggressive to the ball than Kevin Johnson, who, you know, in fairness to Johnson, he's only been here 5 weeks now.
First down after the turnover. Ball on the 27. Empty backfield. Brooks. Quick pass, and that's dropped. Poole Williams, the intended wide receiver on that play, the tight end, went out and couldn't make the catch. Aaron Brooks coming off one of the best games of his career, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions in the 45-7 win over the Giants last week. Montre Holland, the rookie out of Florida State, starting at right guard this week. It started the last 5 weeks at left guard, but Kendall Jaycox is back from that knee injury. And we talked about the weapons they have as backs and receivers. Joe Horn coming off a big game, 4 touchdowns in that much celebrated win over the Giants. Deuce McAllister's first carry, hitting the backfield, and he keeps on going for a gain of 2. Well, this Jaguars defense, kind of an unknown, ranked 6th in the league, number 2 against the run, led by Marcus Stroud, who's on the way to his first Pro Bowl in his 3rd year out of Georgia. The linebacking crew is becoming solidified. Mike Peterson came over in the offseason from the Colts. He's playing middle linebacker, and in the secondary, they've got some big guys. Rasheem Mathis, the rookie corner they really love, and Deke Cooper, free safety, came over as a special teamer in September and has been the starter at free safety for several weeks.
Kurt, Jacksonville has not gotten a lot of pressure from its pass rush. They may run the blitz right now against Aaron Brooks.
Cooper coming on the blitz. Jerome Pathon with the catch, penalty marker on the play as well as he stretched it out. We'll see right at that first down marker, but let's see what the flag is for. A referee today, Gerald Austin.
When you look at the Jacksonville defense, they play a lot of their safeties back, so they're pretty good in coverage. They are able to stop the run with just 7 men up front. They haven't gotten great pressure on the quarterback, but on that one there, we saw the blitz.
Personal foul, grabbing and jerking the face mask. 51 of the defense. 15 yards from the end of the play. First down.
Well, that turns out to be a big one because they did not only gain 8 yards on the pass play, but also 15 more on the penalty by Aiken Adele. And Adele is one of those young linebackers we talked about the coaching staff really loves, but they won't like that play.
Right, well, he's a defensive end who's converted to linebacker, and that's a very difficult thing to do, but he's gotten better every game this season. He's really kind of getting comfortable in that position.
So a first down in Jacksonville territory at the 48. McAllister. Nowhere to run, maybe a yard on the play. Mike Peterson on the tackle.
Peterson on the tackle, and Donovan Darius, who really already kind of made his statement that he's here on the first play of the game when he lambasted Pathon, is also up there and involved in the run. And I said the Jacksonville safeties, Cooper and Darius, they play back a lot so that they can give help to their corners, but they also come up on the run very, very aggressively.
Here comes the blitz again. McAllister stutter steps and gets his way out to the 43, give him 4 yards before Danny Clark made the stop.
You all right, you all right, you all right.
The Jaguars' focus, Kurt, was on Deuce McAllister on the first and second downs. They wanted to try to put the Saints in long yards, 3rd and long, and then they planned on trying to blitz Aaron Brooks. So far on first and second down, they've been very successful against the NFC's top rusher.
Yeah, the Saints, though, have him right where they want him.
Yeah.
Third down, best in the league at converting almost half of the time. And they keep that conversion rate going upward, getting the ball at the 35-yard line. Pathon with the catch of 8.
Aaron Brooks sat back. This time, Jacksonville doesn't go with the blitz. So Aaron Brooks sits back there in the pocket, and when he has the time and he has a throwing lane, and you see the protection right here, he's very dangerous, because this is a difficult throw for a lot of quarterbacks to make. You have to have a very strong arm to throw this out cut accurately. Not a lot of room for error, because Mathis had pretty good coverage, but Brooks has the strong arm.
Draw play to McAllister. McAllister will only get a yard on that play. Rashean Mathis with the tackle. Rookie out of Bethune-Cookman, second-round pick, grew up here in Jacksonville.
Another young player. You know, you look at the Jacksonville team, and of course we saw Chicago last week, and we talked about how they've got a lot of young players and a lot of potential coming on. And Jacksonville 4-10 this year, but they've lost some close games. They've got Marcus Stroud, who's a young player, a Pro Bowl player. John Henderson in the middle there. Mathis. So Jacksonville really feels confident about what they're going to do next year.
Here's McAllister out of the backfield with running room. Makes a move by Donovan Darius and gets all the way down to the 16-yard line. 18 yards on the catch and run by McAllister.
We compared in the beginning of this game offense to offense, and we said, you know, the Saints, they've got a strong arm quarterback, they've got a deep threat with Joe Horn, and then they've got the running back with McAllister, and the Jacksonville has kind of a similar lineup on the other side. The other similarity is for both McAllister and Fred Taylor, the Jacksonville runner, they're both very involved in the pass game, and when they catch the ball in space, they're very dangerous after the catch.
First time in the red zone for either team today. Brooks towards the end zone. Incomplete. Boo Williams double covered.
Triple covered, right?
Say a lot of aqua and teal jerseys down there, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about the first possession scoring and how both these teams struggle. You see the Saints only 2 touchdowns, Jacksonville none, and that streak continued today as the rookie threw the interception.
Well, when you have that triple coverage, as Aaron Brooks saw on that last play, you make the throw. If you're going to make the throw, you make the throw high, as he did. And either Boo Williams makes a spectacular play, but you don't want to give up the interception.
10th play of the drive, McAllister. Hit after a pickup of just a yard on the play, and Aiken Adell with the tackle. You call these linebackers names a lot. Peterson, Adell, Clark, all three have been involved on this first drive a lot.
And the impressive thing about that was it was a run blitz. They brought Donovan Darius up from the backfield on the run blitz, and then the linebackers were able to fill in behind. Lots of times on a run blitz, if the safety who's coming on the blitz misses the tackle, the running back gets behind the linebackers.
Saints can get a first down at the 6.
This is where they want to blitz, Kurt.
They're showing it. Back down at the line of scrimmage. John Henderson, all 6'7" of them, gets in there and does a little Mutombo at the end with the finger wave.
98, defense, 98.
Well, they put 2 blockers on John Henderson. You watch him right here. Fontenot gets help from his guard, but Henderson still gets the push, and he gets the arm up.
72, what? 47.
When we talked to Marcus Stroud, he said, you know, John Henderson is a guy that no one has to motivate.
Here's John Carney. He's missed 5 of his last 7 field goal attempts. This one from 33 yards away. It's down, it's up, and it's good. And so the Saints turn the turnover into points. Carney with a field goal, and New Orleans has a 3-0 lead. So the interception by the rookie quarterback Byron Left, which leads to 3 points by New Orleans, and they have the early lead.
Well, 2 good things for Jacksonville. One is they were able to move the ball before the interception, and 2 is the thing that everyone says about Byron Leftwich is he's cool under fire, and if he makes a mistake, you don't have to worry about him being rattled on the next possession.
We'll see. Interception doesn't seem to bother him. That was his 15th of the year. Here's David Allen. Ran out of real estate. Cedric Hodge with the tackle right on the 30-yard line. Leftwich and the Jaguars begin possession number 2 right there. The Jaguars looking for their 4th straight win here at Alltel Stadium, all led by Byron Leftwich.
Well, the thing about Leftwich is he's a mature guy. He seems to know defenses, study defenses more effectively than a lot of rookie quarterbacks. And I think that's because of the kind of offense they played at Marshall University, a simple offense that let them focus on defenses.
Hands it off to Fred Taylor. Taylor gets it outside, gets enough for the first down and more. Taylor all the way out to the midfield stripe, 20 yards on the run.
It's as if the Saints didn't listen to their own advice. And you're going to see Grant comes inside. It's actually Derek Rogers, the linebacker, who gets caught on the inside. And we said right from the start, they've got to take care of Fred Taylor and keep him inside. Here, he's way outside. There's a nice block by Jimmy Smith, too, to finish it off.
Ball right on the 50-yard line. Taylor again. Scoots through for a pickup of 4 yards on the play. Kendrick Allen with the tackle.
A lot of people forget just how good of a running back Fred Taylor is. Fifth in the AFC this year, but he started out the season a little slow. He had the knee injury in training camp. He missed quite a bit, and they really fed him slowly. They didn't want to give him much more than 20 carries in September. In October, they gave him a few more. November, a few more. Now in December, they're expecting him to carry the ball 25 to 28 times a game.
Oh, here's another carry by Taylor. Out near the first down marker, someone lost a shoe. We found JB hanging out in LA to give us a game break.
Hey, Kurt and Timmy, what you're going to see is Carolina scoring on its opening drive. Jake DeLone play action, hooking up with Steve Smith, 20-yard strike. 7-0 Carolina looking for momentum heading to the postseason. Detroit trying to avoid that 24th straight road loss, which will be a new NFL record. Back to Kurt and the erudite one, Tim.
Thank you, Hey, JB, great job with the high school kids and the whole issue of celebration. Very, very refreshing piece.
Third and short here. They need less than a yard. Taylor won't get there as he's hitting the backfield. Kenny Smith was the first guy to get him as the Saints wrap him up for a loss on the play.
Kenny Smith does a great job of following the cutback. Watch Kenny Smith right here, and you're going to see him. He works on the guard, and then he comes back on the cutback, and he's right there. Penetration, and Darren Howard was the first guy to make the hit. So nice job on the backside on the cutback by the Saints defensive line.
They're going for it on 4th down. Taylor lowers his head. Now this will depend on the spot. He needed to get it right on top of the 40.
They're saying first down.
And he got it.
They went right behind Chris Naoli, the former New Orleans Saint, right there. And Naoli's got the block, and he does an excellent job of turning his man to the outside and just giving Fred Taylor a small seam. It was Kendrick Allen was the guy he was blocking.
They may have gotten a fortunate spot on that one, too. Nonetheless, they convert the 4th down. It's first down at the 40. Fuamatu Ma'afala dancing. And he picks up 4 yards on the run before Tabucky Jones made the tackle.
Now Jacksonville starting to run on the inside, and Naoli and Meester, the center.
What about an interesting individual Chris Naoli is, huh?
Little Moco Loco. He's been feeding up Loco Moco. He's been feeding Byron Leftwich all
Well, he
season.
says he's married, lives down the street from Leftwich. Leftwich, being a single guy, doesn't know how to cook, so he brings him over every day for dinner. And his favorite dish is Moco Loco, which needs some explanation, I think. Fuamatu Ma'afala, and he picks up a couple of yards on the run. And in case you're wondering what Moco Loco is, well, here's what it is. It's really simple.
No, it's not it's Loco Moco.
Is it Loco Moco? I don't know. I think after you eat it, you have Moco Loco.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think so, man. Eggs, rice, gravy, and hamburger all mixed up. And it's a dish that Naoli's wife made. And he said, Naoli grew up in Hawaii, and he said that's the way it is. Everyone's invited to everyone else's house.
Well, you have a chance at home to go get some Loco Moco or whatever your favorite food is. In the first quarter here in Jacksonville, Saints on top.
From all of us in the Fox Graphics unit, we want to wish you
Happy holidays.
part of our hard-working technical staff paying homage to Joe Horn, I do
phoning
believe.
it in, absolutely. Great work they've done all season.
Third down by the Jaguars. They need the 30. Fred Taylor gets there, breaking a couple of tackles and making a couple of moves. Bucky Jones finally stopped him down at the 27-yard line.
And I think this is an interesting run by Fred Taylor because it exemplifies what we've been talking about. He is just naturally drawn as a runner to the outside, to the perimeter. Now, it's not that he can't make yardage up the middle, because he makes the yards up the middle, but you see him working, constantly working towards the sideline and open space where he can make people miss.
First down for the Jaguars. Here comes the blitz. Taylor will be tripped up in the backfield by the blitzing safety, Jay Bellamy. Fell forward for a gain of 2.
You know, Leftwich hasn't thrown a pass since the interception. So the Jaguars are coming out. They're relying heavily on Fred Taylor. They're handing the ball off in it. But you know what it's going to do, Kurt? It's going to set up the play-action pass, because the Saints safeties, it's like a tongue twister. The Saints safeties are going to soon shift their focus to stopping Fred Taylor, and it's going to open up the passing game. Overthrown and incomplete. Leftwich pass to Kevin Johnson. A little play-by-play by me, Kurt, as you lost your headset there.
Well, a little technical difficulties we're having here in Jacksonville.
I kind of like that.
You want to do the whole game by yourself?
No,
I can go, you know, I can sit out in the sunshine for a little bit.
I don't really. I have no business doing that. Anyway, the first pass since the interception, and that one got away from Leftwich. Now here's where the Saints want to blitz Leftwich, because they know it's a pass.
Brings up a third down. Overthrown, incomplete in the direction of Jimmy Smith.
And it's the all-out blitz, and Cedric Hodge comes clean off the corner and gets the shot on Byron Leftwich. Look at the Saints. Here they are. They load up the right side. Here comes Hodge. Bam. And again, Leftwich rushes this pass, and it sails away from him.
Oh, in comes Seth Marler, the rookie out of Tulane. He's another kicker that struggled, missed at least one field goal in each of his last 5 games. And overall, he's missed 6 of his last 13. This one from 43 yards away. And it's good. So maybe these kickers have found their way. The kick by Marler will tie it up. We're all even at 3 in the second quarter. And so Byron Leftwich settles down. And the Jaguars have evened the score at 3. Marler set to kick things off. Michael Lewis. And a dangerous return man knocked out of bounds with a hard hit by Kiwaki Thomas after a return of 17 yards on the play. 13:21 left to go in the second quarter. Well, after a couple of field goals, we're all even at 3 early in the second quarter. Saints needing to win this game and again next week against Dallas in order to have a shot at the playoffs. They still need some help, but first things first as they get their second possession against the Jaguars.
Well, so far they have not been able to run Deuce McAllister against this number 2 run defense.
They try it here. McAllister won't get far, stopped after a pickup of 3 yards on the play.
I think anytime you have a run defense that's successful, and the Jaguars do, they're number 1 in the run, they're number 1 in rush average, it starts in the center. And it starts with Marcus Stroud, and he's the guy. You know what I'm saying? And it's very difficult. I think most teams have to use 3 guys to block Stroud and Henderson. So offenses end up a man short, and that takes its effect even when you run to the outside.
Quick pass caught by Jerome Pathon. And Pathon gets enough for the first down out to the 32-yard line. Gain of 10.
One thing you know, if you're
if you're a wide receiver and you're playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, you know you are going to take some awesome shots because Donovan Darius and now Deke Cooper are both knockout artists. That's what they do. That's what they take pride in, and they do it very well. Both of those guys fly around like missiles.
Try to be intimidating.
Heck, Darius knocked himself out last week in the Patriots game.
The handoff. Deuce McAllister, and he won't get far as the running woes continue. We send it out to Los Angeles and JB for another game break.
Kurt and Jim, take a look at Quincy Carter having himself an outstanding first half. A 36-yard pass to Jason Witten for the score. Carter, 5 of 7, 132 passing yards thus far, just starting the second quarter. Back to Kurt. And hey, Tim, TB says he loves the way he looks. He wish, in fact, he could be that way as well.
Hey, Terry was a little quiet today. I was surprised. I'd like to hear a little more from him.
Maybe he had my microphone from earlier.
Yeah.
1 yard run on the play by McAllister, penalty marker down as well.
Kind of a subtler Terry Bradshaw today.
Yards.
Talking about angels.
Still second down.
Things like that.
He's in the Christmas
I
spirit.
guess so. I guess that's it.
Jaguars offsides on the play. There's that defense you talked about. Yards per carry, best in the National Football League, and number 2 against the run overall.
And look what they're doing today. I mean, this is best in the NFL. It's 3.1, and today they're even better than that against the NFC's top running back, Deuce McAllister.
Play fake. Brooks all kinds of time, wide open, Jerome Pathon, and Pathon down to the 42 of the Jaguars, an 18-yard gain.
They buy tremendous time for Aaron Brooks with the play-action fake to Deuce McAllister, and look at how long Brooks can sit back there. He gets to scan the field, and Pathon gets to get himself wide open against Rasheem Mathis. There you see Darius coming in to punish him, but too late. I think the Saints are going to just have to stick with this passing game because the run game really isn't working.
Brooks again. Just throws that one away. Pathon, the nearest receiver over there.
You know, conventional wisdom tells you when you've got a Deuce McAllister, when you've got a Fred Taylor as a running back, you want to run the ball and then to set up the pass, right? To get the safeties moving up and thinking about run, to get the defensive linemen thinking about run, and then you run the play action and the pass should open up. But I think for the Saints to be successful against this defense, Jim Haslett is going to have to use the pass to open up the run.
3 wide receivers in on second down. Brooks back to pass again. This one intended for Dante Stallworth, but a nice job of getting in there and breaking it up by Fernando Bryant.
Well, Fernando Bryant does a really nice job. He gets excellent position, and he can, Kurt, because remember we talked about the Jacksonville safeties. They back up. See, look, both safeties here. This is that cover 2 everyone talks about. So these guys are backing up the cornerbacks. So when you're a cornerback, you can play very, very aggressive on that slant route. That's exactly what Fernando Bryant does. You can play aggressive on the slant because if the man fakes in and goes deep, you know you've got the safety backing you up. It's cover 2.
Another 3rd and long. They need the 32. Brooks almost intercepted. Penalty marker on the play as well, but Paul Spicer had visions of touchdowns dancing in his head on that one.
Holding, 24 defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
That's a big penalty because instead of 4th and 10, that's an automatic first down.
I tell you, Jacksonville came with the all-out blitz. They sent just about everyone, and that's called a zero blitz, where you don't even have a free safety in the middle of the field. You see the guys coming on the blitz, so these guys are locked. There's the man-to-man coverage. There it is on Joe Horn, and I think that was the hold.
Milwaukee Thomas call for the hold there that gives the Saints an automatic first down. Ball on the 37-yard line. Deuce. Once again, nowhere to run. He'll pick up that 2 yards that they've been averaging. Danny Clark with the tackle.
And on that, Kurt, that was a running play, but that's a draw play. So in other words, you already see them. They are using the pass to set up the run, and you can see they're
pass selection is much more than their run, and I think that as the game goes on, that's going to get even more and more of separation between those. I think the Saints are finding that they're going to have to pass to be successful against this defense.
Another long drive, this the 8th play. Brooks being pressured for the first time really today, and he throws it away.
Yeah, but even the pressure that he had came pretty late. You know, one thing about Aaron Brooks, and people have been very critical of him, you look at him, his touchdown-interception ratio is excellent. It's 3rd in the league, but he's had fumbles. He's lost 11 fumbles, but 4 of those 11 fumbles, Kurt, have come on 3rd down. And 3rd down is where the Saints are at their best, and I think part of the reason they're so good on 3rd down is because Aaron Brooks will hang in there, hang in the pocket, and let the play develop downfield, where a lot of other quarterbacks will just dump it off.
The blitz is picked up. Stallworth going to be stopped short of the first down by Rasheed Mathis. Mathis caught him just about 2 yards before he got to the sticks, maybe a yard and a half. It'll be a 4th down decision for Jim Haslett.
I think this is one where you go for it.
This part of the field.
This part of the field, this time of the season.
And with your kicker struggling. We mentioned
your kicker struggling.
Missing 5 of 7 before today.
All those factors. And you know, you're 7-7. You've got to win. You've got to win here. And you've got to win next week against Dallas. If you're going to go to the playoffs.
But next week doesn't matter if you don't win today.
Right.
Jaguars call the timeout to talk things over on 4th down. Saints set to go for it on 4th down. Ball on the 29-yard line. They need to get it to the 27 to keep this drive going.
You would think with the way they've not been able to get Deuce McAllister in the run game going that this is going to be a passing down for the Saints. And, you know, one thing you got to remember is Aaron Brooks can run the ball. He's a pretty good runner. So I would be really tempted to roll him out. Even though they're lining up in a shotgun, I'd be tempted to roll him out and give him the option.
3 wide receivers and the tight end. Bull Williams split out wide. Direct snap to Deuce McAllister, but it's a bad one. And McAllister falls on it to save it from being scooped up by the Jaguars. So they try a trick play, and the execution was horrible. That direct snap to McAllister, something they've tried several times this year, and has worked to a lot of success, but not this time. And we want to wish all of you a happy holiday season.
It's a little different than Frank Caliendo's Mr. or Mrs. Santa Claus, right?
Well, we'll find out how correct they are at predicting. Forget bringing the presents. See what you know about the future, Mr. Claus. Fred Taylor, a busy afternoon already, all the way down to the 39-yard line of New Orleans, and a gain of 23 by Taylor. Oh, that's a Christmas gift to the fans here.
Well, the gift began with this play here. You said the direct snap to Deuce McAllister, and the snap by Jerry Fontenot was good. And what happened was Deuce just took his eyes off of it. Now here's the pass, the short pass to Fred Taylor, and you can see there the Saints are so focused on Jimmy Smith and Kevin Johnson, they've got to pay more attention to Fred Taylor on the underneath route.
Taylor 51 yards rushing, 31 receiving. That one bounces in the air and almost picked off. They're lucky it wasn't, as that one hit a helmet, it looked like, at the line of scrimmage, and it was a free-for-all. You can see Fred Taylor almost half the yards.
I think it was actually Jonathan Sullivan who tipped it. Yeah, Fred Taylor has been the offense. About half of that's running and the other half is receiving.
There's Taylor with another big chunk down inside the 30, and Taylor with a gain of 20 on the run, adding to his total. He's now over the 100-yard mark in total yardage already.
And again, Kurt, Fred Taylor is finding the outside on this defense. It's got to be almost unthinkable for Rick Venturi, who said, we're going to keep this guy boxed in and contained, to see Fred Taylor running down the sideline again. That's where all of his big runs have come.
Taylor out taking a breather. LeBrandon Tofield, the rookie out of LSU, now in. And he gets the carry. Running it inside, Tofield with a gain of 5. Let's head back out to L.A. and check in with JB.
All right, Kurt and Tim, take a look at this. Jake Delhomme hooking up, little swing pass to Deshaun Foster. He takes it in for a 14-0 lead. Hey, Tim, here's Terry Bradshaw.
Hey, Tim, Chuck Noll used to scream at me because he said you're only completing 40% of your passes. I yelled back, but coach, that's over half.
Oh, Terry. I love it, man.
Second down after the run by Tofield. Leftwich dumps it off. Tofield with room towards the end zone, in for the touchdown.
It's a different running back, but it's the same concept, Kurt. With the Saints' focus being on the wide receivers, for the Jaguars Leftwich to throw underneath to the running back. This time it's Tofield.
And his first touchdown reception in the National Football League, has one this year running. But the rookie from LSU is a guy that they like, backing up Fred Taylor, and you can see why. Jaguars go up by a touchdown after the touchdown.
Jacksonville Jaguars flood the left side of the field and then come back to Tofield on the right. If you stop it right there, you see everyone, all the receivers going out to that side of the field, and that lets Tofield get it here. The offensive line builds a wall, and it's wide open. So the focus on Jimmy Smith, on Kevin Johnson, has really kind of undermined the Saints' defensive effort. They're going to have to make some adjustments pretty quick here, Kurt, to cover the running backs on the underneath routes.
Here's Seth Marler with the kickoff. It's taken to the 9-yard line by Michael Lewis. Lewis runs into a wall right at the 22 by the name of Tony Gilbert.
Had a very shiny nose.
Well, only 2 wild card spots. Saints, one of 4 teams trying to get one of them, but all of it won't matter if they don't win today.
Right, Saints still alive, but as you see there, clearly they've got to have other people lose, like Green Bay, Seattle, and or the Vikings.
But first of all, they've got to win. And right now, they're down by a touchdown.
That's right.
Here in the second quarter at Jacksonville.
And the other thing they've got to do if they're going to win, I think, Kurt, is get the football into the hands of Joe Horn.
Doesn't have a pass attempt.
There he is right there, and I think they've got to get the ball into his hands.
They fake the pitch to McAllister, going deep for Paython. Hand fighting with Mathis, and no penalty markers on the play.
That was a nice job by Rasheem Mathis, really, because you're allowed to push back and forth. If the offensive player, Paython, pushes Mathis, then Mathis, they can go back and forth. And here he is. He's locked up. He's got a man-to-man, and you see him right there. They're going to start going back and forth a little bit with the hands. There's Paython. There's Mathis. And it's nice, tight coverage by the rookie. He was a safety in college and originally a safety here.
Brooks working from the shotgun. Paython, the intended receiver again, this time covered by Kawaki Thomas.
I'll tell you, Kurt, you almost have to wonder if Joe Horn's not in the doghouse a little bit.
A lot of balls going towards 80 and not 87.
Yeah, and, I don't see anything out there that tells you that the coverage is that much different on one side or the other.
Well, why would Horn be in the doghouse for anything that we know? I mean, if people are thinking it's because of the celebration last week, they kept throwing to him last week after he did it. He had 2 more touchdowns.
You're right. It's probably just an over. I would expect him to get the ball right now.
Brooks on 3rd down. There he is, Joe Horn. And Horn out to the 43-yard line. Rasheem Mathis with the tackle, but Horn's first catch is good for 19.
And again, the doghouse thing was ridiculous. Here it is, and he's got single coverage with Mathis. Has got the single coverage. You see, Joe Horn just drives him deep, and then he comes back to it. And that's what happens when you don't have a safety behind you you have to respect the deep pass, and that's why Mathis stayed over the top, and Horn was able to come back and get open.
First down at the 43.
See, now they've got the safety over the top.
And now they hand it off to McAllister, and McAllister will go forward for a pickup of 4.
I just think it is such a difficult thing to run the ball against the Jaguars at all, but especially right up the center, where Marcus Stroud and John Henderson are just so powerful.
Have you seen a bigger pair? I mean, people talk about the big 340, 350-pound guys, but they're usually short. These two guys are tall.
I think
6'6",
yeah,
6'7".
they're tall, and they're not fat either. I mean, neither one of them's got that big, beer keg gut that some of those guys have.
Quick pass out, Dante Stallworth gets away from Rasheem Mathis and fights his way out to the 50. So nice job of Stallworth of breaking the tackle and finding his way for a short pickup of 3 yards.
I think Jim Haslett's got to be pleased with this play, Kurt, because the problem with Dante Stallworth has been, getting hurt and not being able to kind of play through an injury. And that play right there was I think showed some toughness, right? Because Mathis is a physical cornerback, big guy. Mathis got on him right away, and Stallworth kind of shook it and then got positive yardage out of it.
This is his second game back for Stallworth after missing 5 of 6 with a bad ankle. They need the 47. Brooks strong arms it, but throws it into the ground for Joe Horn, and it's incomplete. Well, he had Horn, just couldn't get the zip on that pass.
No, he didn't, and Aaron Brooks usually does a pretty good job throwing even when he's on the move. And the thing I talked about on the 4th down, this was kind of the play I expected on the 4th down. When they went to McAllister, the direct snap, and it didn't go right, I expected them to do that, roll from the shotgun, and give Aaron Brooks the option to either take it and run or throw for the first down.
It's Berger with the high punt. David Allen makes the fair catch at the 9-yard line. So Berger will get 41 yards on the punt. Well, January 2nd, join us for one of college football's most storied bowl games, these 2 storied programs. The 68th SBC Cotton Bowl Classic, January 2nd, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 Pacific, only on Fox.
Of course, Deuce McAllister, a Mississippi alum, and you see some of the other great quarterbacks. We talked about Eli Manning playing in that game, but Staubach and Theismann, our own Troy Aikman.
Leftwich is picked off again. Second time today, this time by Fred Thomas. And Thomas, bobbing and weaving his way, still alive. Down inside the 10-yard line, Fred Thomas, who picked up a block kick last week against the Giants and ran it in for a touchdown, returned this one 23 down to the 9.
Well, I talked about the Saints' focus, Kurt, on the wide receivers, and the focus pays off this time. Here's Jimmy Smith. Fred Thomas actually plays the underneath route because you see Tabucky Jones, who came in late. Tabucky Jones came all the way from center field, but what they said was, all right, Tabucky, you're going to cover Thomas on the deep route. And so Thomas was able to slide underneath and make the pick because he knew Tabucky Jones had the deep pass covered.
First and goal from the 9. McAllister. Gain of 6 down to the 3. And this is bad news for Jacksonville because when Leftwich throws an interception as their starter, they are 0-7. When he doesn't, they won every game. So far, he's thrown 2 interceptions here in the first half, and his team is trying to hold on to a 10-3 lead.
I will tell you this. The first one, I think, Ashley Ambrose just stole it from Kevin Johnson. On that last one, the Saints defense gave Leftwich, the rookie quarterback, a look that he has never seen before. Because that's not how the Saints normally play that kind of defense, with Fred Thomas getting help from the free safety all the way from the middle of the field.
McAllister still fighting. He'll be stopped by Mike Peterson and the rest of this Jaguar defense at about the 2-yard line.
This is just really tough area for Jim Haslett to be in the red zone and to be running the ball right into the center of the defense. Now, the first play that they ran, and they had some success on, really was a draw play. So they tried to make Stroud and Henderson in the middle think it was a pass, get rushing upfield, and they ran past him. That last play was just a straight run, and this has got to be a pass.
3rd and goal from the 2.
And you got to be thinking Joe Horn.
3 receivers bunch to the right. He goes left for Boo Williams, and Williams goes up and makes a catch. What a catch by the tight end for the touchdown. Rasheem Mathis was all over him, but Williams just goes up and gets the football.
What a play by Boo Williams. Jim Haslett told us that Boo Williams was on the verge of being cut. A kid with tremendous talent, tremendous upside, never really realized it. And Haslett talked to him and said, hey, you may not be on this team much longer. It straightened him around, and he's had an excellent season. And that's going to go in the highlight reel.
John Carney gets the extra point. We're all tied at 10. 2:55 left to go in the first half.
Just man coverage, and Boo Williams outleaps Rasheem Mathis.
Williams coming back to his home state, grew up in Tallahassee and had been the 2nd tight end until 5 weeks ago when Ernie Conwell went down with a fractured ankle, and he has really taken advantage of the playing time. You see 5 touchdown catches, but 4 of them have come in the last 5 games since he's been the starter.
What about that celebration that he had?
I don't think that's finable, though.
No.
You can't get fined for hitting yourself in the head, can you?
That was a bad one. You couldn't fine him for that. The head, he slapped his own head.
He wanted to hear ringing of a different kind. Rather than a cell phone, he's banging himself in the head.
A self-inflicted head slap.
A little woozy on the sideline there, and why not after a celebration like this?
Well, you saw JB on the pregame show, and he had all the high school kids from his area doing it, and they showed what they would do if they scored, and none of them did that.
I don't know what you even call that. That deserves a boo.
It was a great catch, though.
Catch and celebration, no direct correlation between how good they are. Berger. That's David Allen. Allen spins out to the 30-yard line. Keep in mind that when we're done here in Jacksonville, it's game 2 of our Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader as the Philadelphia Eagles go for their 10th straight win, trying to knock off the Niners, who have yet to win a game on the road this year. That doesn't mean it automatically will happen in the NFL these days, though, does it?
No, and Jeff Garcia is really back into a rhythm, and he's starting to find Terrell Owens. That should be a very exciting game. And, of course, Donovan McNabb and the Eagles is electrifying.
Leftwich hands it off to Taylor, and Fred Taylor bouncing it back inside a little bit, picks up 14 yards on the run.
The Saints defense had a lot of free agents come in. They had Ashley Ambrose and Tabucky Jones and Derek Rogers. And so I think in the beginning of the season, especially in the pass defense, they weren't as cohesive. They weren't in sync. Their pass defense has gotten better and better as the year has gone on. Their run defense, though, really hasn't hurt. People have still been able to run the ball pretty successfully against them.
First down at the 44, the pitch to Taylor. Taylor gains 6 yards on the run. We'll reach the 2-minute warning here. Jaguars right at midfield, working with 2 timeouts in a tied ball game right before halftime.
From video and videotape,
we wish you and your family happy holidays.
Kind of the Bermuda Triangle of the tech crew, is it?
I think that's the answer to the question, how many video guys does it take to say happy holidays? 3. Hard-working crew, they're the ones that make these pictures look so good and get the replays and all the other fine technical breakthroughs that we have here at Fox coming your way. But keep in mind that 2 minutes on the game clock away, the Visa halftime report. JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy and the boys with the scores and highlights, and an old Fox Sports ticker coming your way from LA. Second down, ball on the 50. Fred Taylor. Taylor will pick up just a yard. That's one of the few short runs he's had all day. He's already got 92 yards rushing in the first half.
This time they contained him. They kept him to the inside. They wouldn't let him get the corner. And Cedric Hodge was the linebacker, the Saints linebacker, who was up there and force Taylor back into the teeth of the defense. And that's what I'm sure he's saying that right now to Charles Grant. Look, that's what we've got to do. We've got to keep Fred Taylor to the inside.
They need the 46 for the first. Quick pass there and a couple of yards more. Jimmy Smith with the catch for the first down.
A nicely executed pass play by Byron Leftwich.
You know, Jimmy Smith's been kind of a missing part of this Jaguars offense a lot this year. But now they're trying to get him involved here.
Right. Well, part of the reason today why he may not have heard him so much is because the Saints have been paying so much attention to Jimmy Smith. As we saw on the interception by Fred Thomas, even when it looks like there's just a single coverage out there, Bucky Jones has been sliding over the top of Jimmy Smith.
But you see only 48 catches this year. I mean, 2 years ago when Keenan McCardell was here, he was averaging 100 yards a year. Had 112 that year. McCardell left, and his numbers dropped from 112 right down to 80, and down to 48 this year. And you wonder how much of it is not having a big-time receiver on the other side.
Well, part of it, though, Kurt, is he missed the first 4 games because of a suspension. And the other thing is you've got a rookie quarterback, so your passing game is naturally going to be falling off a little bit just because Leftwich is a rookie and learning.
Dropped by Kyle Brady. Penalty flag late comes flying in the secondary. And the Saints will plead their case.
I don't know if that's going to be against Fred.
It may be offensive. We'll see what the call is. Gerald Austin discussing stuff with his crew, but the Saints players are clapping and pointing that it's against Jacksonville.
We do not have a pass interference foul, but we do have holding. Number 90 of the defense pulling the guard aside so a man can shoot through the hole. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's a pass rush stunt that really has been a point of emphasis this season by the league, where one defensive lineman will grab an offensive lineman's shirt and then try to drag him into another guy. And it's almost like a pick play in the passing game, so that the second defensive lineman can loop around him clean. And the NFL said we're not going to have any more of that. I think just one more rule, Kurt, to enhance the passing game and protect the quarterbacks.
Jaguars will pick up 5 yards on the penalty. Ball at the 39. First down. Leftwich catches Kevin Johnson down the sideline. And Johnson, who may be that other receiver that they've been looking for, picks up 27. Kevin Johnson now in his 5th game after being released by the Cleveland Browns has been a big pickup for Jacksonville.
Well, Bellamy comes on the safety blitz right there. Fred Taylor actually does a good job of picking it up. And then Kevin Johnson gets behind the zone and Ashley Ambrose, because that wasn't a man-to-man coverage. Ambrose was sitting there in the zone. The zone was short a man because Bellamy came on the blitz.
First down on the 12. Leftwich with time. Pulls it down and runs. Bouncing it. Leftwich down near the 2-yard line. Orlando Ruff saved the touchdown.
Well, Byron Leftwich is hardly the most athletic runner at the quarterback position. He's not a Michael Vick, he's not a Donovan McNabb or a Jeff Garcia, but he does a nice job here of just sensing that there's some open space and picking up the first down. So you don't always have to have the best running ability, but
well, that certainly helps. Fred Taylor takes it in for the touchdown. And you see his little phone celebration. Well, Fred Taylor with an answer to last week's cell phone call by Joe Horn, and this one will put the Jaguars back up by a touchdown.
The only thing that stopped this Jaguars offense today has been interceptions.
Seth Marler gets the extra point, and the lead is being re-extended to 7 points on Fred Taylor's touchdown run. And check out the celebration afterwards, Tim.
part of Fred Taylor's success, and certainly on this play, is the offensive line. There's the phone. Little homage to Joe Horn.
Now that's the phone that you used to have when you were like 8 years old and they didn't have cell phones that were fake for kids to carry around, you know? Agent 99, you pick it up and wondering if anybody's on the other end. And Fred Taylor celebrating the old-fashioned way, I guess. 7-play, 70-yard drive. Taylor capping it off, and he's capping off a nice first half. 16 carries, 93 yards, another 31 through the air for Taylor. And this Jacksonville Jaguar team coming in at 4-10, but winners of their last 3 games here at home. Trying to knock off the Saints, who are at 7-7, must win out and then get help in order to make the playoffs. But right now they're down by a touchdown as Michael Lewis takes it at the 6. Dragged down from behind by Deke Cooper. Oh, we've talked about the picture in the NFC and the AFC. Things a bit less clouded.
Right, and I think the thing you have to remember here with Cincinnati and Baltimore, even though each of those teams has an 8-6 record, one of those teams is going to win the division, and the other one probably isn't going to be the wild card team unless Tennessee and Denver just fall apart.
And Miami will have to win both their games in order to get it done. The guys in the truck having fun with the phone thing, aren't they?
All kinds of phones.
Aaron Brooks runs out of bounds, stops the clock with 5 seconds left to go. Well, the Saints offense really hasn't gotten going like it would like to. We talked about how high scoring and potent they are, but they've got 120 yards of offense. And the one touchdown they got the ball on the 9-yard line after an interception.
Well, they've really been shut down in the running game. Deuce McCall, I mean, they're averaging only 2-2 on the ground, and that's really limited their balance. So they've really been limited to just the passing game. And even in the passing game, you know, he said Aaron Brooks is a hot and cold guy, and he's not been hot so far today.
Most likely last play of the first half is Bull Williams makes the catch, and they don't get the timeout called in time to stop the clock, and that'll be it. Bull Williams scored the only touchdown for the Saints. Joe Horn has been quieted with just 1 catch on the afternoon. Well, this Jacksonville Jaguar team has been the one to put up points. When they haven't stopped themselves with 2 interceptions, they've been able to score and go into halftime with a 17-10 lead over the Saints.
And the focus for Jim Haslett and the Saints at halftime, Kurt, is going to be somehow finding a way to stop Fred Taylor.
Jim Haslett needs to find a way for his team to come back if they want to stay alive in the playoff picture. They're down 7 at halftime. Visa halftime report next. Back in Jacksonville, where the Jaguars have a 17-10 lead over the Saints at halftime. Kurt Menefee along with Tim Green. And Tim, at the beginning we asked whether or not a top 10 defense can stop a high-powered offense, and so far the answer seems to be yes.
Yes, the defense can stop, because the Saints, who we said their offense goes hot and cold, I mean, they're ice cold. Deuce McAllister right now not really finding any holes, not able to get anything going against a very tough Jacksonville defense. And then, you know, Aaron Brooks only completing 50% of his passes today, Kurt, and really not able to find his receivers downfield. I think that's the only thing that has gone well for the Saints offense. They're going to have to do more of that in the second half.
Saints came in with a 9th-ranked offense, 6th rushing. Jaguars 6th-ranked defense, 2nd rushing, and they are the ones that look like they are dominating right now. But surprisingly, their offense is having a lot of success against the Saints defense when they don't turn it over.
Well, you know what, I don't know how surprised we should be, because, you know, Fred Taylor, we said right from the beginning, he is the real deal. And when he's got it going, and he's got it going right now, over 90, almost up to 100 yards rushing already today against the Saints defense that has struggled all year to stop the run. They've gotten better in the pass defense, but the run defense has not worked. And then there's Fred Taylor on the touchdown that he had. And you saw him also has 2 catches for 31 yards in the passing game. So it really has been
Fred Taylor's day so far today in Jacksonville.
Yeah, you take a look at it, and I guess we shouldn't be surprised as he's put up 124 yards in the first half for an offense that came in ranked number 13. And I go back to our conversation on Friday when Ashley Ambrose came into the room and said, I can't believe this is a 4-10 team when you look at it.
Well, and if you look at what's happened to them, they've lost a lot of very, very close games. And they've got some, having Byron Leftwich at quarterback, as much high potential as he has, he's a big, strong guy. He's got the deep pass. Whenever you start a rookie at the quarterback position, you know you're going to lose some games just because of his inexperience.
Seth Marler kicks it off as the Saints will take over to start the second half. Michael Lewis from the 5. Lewis returns it 22 yards out to the 27-yard line. And taking a look at the halftime stats, Tim.
Very, very lopsided stats at 214 total yards for Jacksonville, 122 of them on the ground. They are just dominating the line of scrimmage. And really, it's only these 2 turnovers, the 2 interceptions by Byron Leftwich, that have kept the Saints in this football game. We'll see if it's a tale of 2 halves, and if Jim Haslett whipped his team into shape in the locker room at halftime.
Here's Deuce McAllister. Gets through the line of scrimmage after it looked like he was going to be stopped for no gain. Instead, he picks up 5.
Now, I think that was the best run he's had so far. And don't forget what's on the line for the New Orleans Saints. They're 7-7. They're still in the playoff hunt. I mean, heck, but they've got to win this one, and they've got to win next week against Dallas. They need a couple of other teams to lose, but, they have lost. I mean, Tampa Bay had to lose. They lost yesterday, so they're getting some help, but they've got to help themselves.
On second down, the pitch to McAllister. Stretched out. Flag on the play as McAllister gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
Holding, 86 offense, 10 yards. Repeat, second down.
Walter Rasby, the tight end.
Rasby had to try to block, I think, Tony Brackens. And Brackens, who, if he gets 4 sacks in these last 2 games, makes an additional $4 million.
Well, he's scheduled to make $9 million next year. Yeah. If he gets 10 sacks, he gets it up to $13 million. He's got 6 right now.
So you better believe that Tony Brackens is going to be getting upfield every play.
Well, he hopes they keep passing.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to see run plays.
Here he is here. You know he's going to want to get upfield.
Brooks. Short pass dropped by Deuce McAllister. Something you don't see a lot. Pretty sure-handed out of the backfield normally.
Pro Bowl runner, as we said, top runner in the NFC coming into today. About 2 yards ahead of Amon Green. That's the second, and normally he's got great hands. He's been a big part of their passing game. That's the second time we've seen him mishandle the ball. Remember, on the 4th down, they went with the direct snap, and he mishandled that.
3 wide receivers in on 3rd down. Meeting the 37. Here comes the blitz. Brooks diving, incomplete. The pass was intended for Dante Stallworth, but the Saints will be given the flag here.
Roughing the passer, 98, hit the quarterback in the head. 15 yards, automatic first down.
And the Saints will take advantage. Instead of being 3 and out to start the second half, John Henderson gives them a personal foul penalty.
Well, you see they come with the blitz. There's Henderson working on Jay Cox. Not much of a hit at all. Here he is. But it's the forearm that hits Brooks right in the head, really just brushes it. And that's, that would be the 3rd drive that the Saints have had that's been kept alive by Jacksonville defensive penalties.
Yeah, I mean, think of this. They would have been punting from their own 12-yard line, so the Jaguars would have gotten it back with pretty good field position.
I mean, that's about, though, I'm not saying it wasn't a penalty because it was, but that's about as cheap a penalty as you can get. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Henderson didn't even try to hit it.
Nice play by Danny Clark of catching Deuce McAllister. Just ran around that right hand and made the tackle. And
this Jaguars defense, we talked about how well they play against the run, and this is a run blitz. And Danny Clark comes off the edge, and you saw Peterson is in there as well, so they're blitzing their linebackers. When you think blitz, you think, well, it's a pass play, so they're shooting linebackers along with the defensive linemen. Sometimes you do that on a run play, too, to get penetration.
McAllister chased down from behind. John Henderson grabbed him and picked up 4 yards on the play.
Again, this Jacksonville defense, which is first in the NFL in yards per carry, coming in today at 3-1, and the Saints have gotten a little bit better, Kurt. Now they're up to 2-6. Earlier they were at 2-0. But you cannot win a game when you have that average yards per carry, unless you get a boatload of turnovers by the other team.
And so far they've gotten 2. Turn them into their 10 points. They need the 47 for the first. Brooks will be sacked. John Henderson gets it. First sack of the day by either team.
Well, this would be a coverage sack because Aaron Brooks had to hold on to this ball and hold on to it, because what the Jacksonville Jaguars do, they put Darius here, they put Cooper here, so each outside guy has got help. There's a lot of help over the top, and the cornerbacks are able to play aggressively on the receivers underneath. Brooks hangs on, and Henderson comes up with one.
David Allen calls for the fair catch on the Mitch Berger punt right at the 30-yard line, right across it. And so the defense holds despite the penalty on the first possession here in the second half. Well, this is the day the torch is officially passed from Mark Brunell to Byron Leftwich. Brunell honored before the game. Leftwich pitching out to Fred Taylor, and Taylor breaking through a hole, getting out into Saint territory, dragged down at the 45-yard line and a gain of 25.
Anytime you're going to pass the torch from an experienced quarterback like Brunell to a rookie like Leftwich, if you've got the run game going, and the run game's going today for the pressure off of a rookie quarterback.
Fred Taylor goes over the 100-yard mark and had 3 straight before last week in New England, right back on that horse today. He goes out. LeBrandon Tofield steps in. Tofield, who has a touchdown reception in the game, picks up a yard on the run. Jonathan Sullivan with the tackle.
If you can run the ball, Kurt, then what it does is it keeps you out of known passing situations. It keeps you out of 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, which is the situation when the defense can get exotic and they can come at you with blitzes and give you things as a young quarterback you've never seen before. So if the run game works, you can pass out of run situations and catch the defense off guard.
Troy Edwards in motion as they hand it off to Tofield. And LeBrandon Tofield with not much, maybe a yard and a half on that run. Darren Howard with the stop. And Howard is a guy the Saints weren't sure would even play today. He missed 8 games this year after wrist surgery after the opening game, and has really been bothered more by his knee lately. But since he's been back, played 4 games, gotten 4 sacks, he is maybe their best defensive player overall.
Well, he was a guy that Bill Musgrave, the offensive coordinator for the Jaguars, told us that they wanted to try to have 2 guys blocking him on pass plays.
Even with that one hand. On 3rd down, needing the 34. Troy Edwards slipped right there across the 1st down marker. Just got enough. And you can see the Saints players pleading their case that maybe he slipped a little bit before, but the officials won't agree. He gets 9 yards and a 1st down.
You can see the slip is pretty clear because Troy Edwards kicks up some turf right there, but he does pull his foot back. The turf goes off onto the sideline, but his foot didn't.
Left some track marks. Ball on the 33. Taylor. Charles Grant with the tackle there, and I'll tell you what, it almost looked like he got tackled by Kyle Brady, and I'm going, wait a minute. I'm sure his teammate wouldn't tackle him, especially not a tight end, but Brady just got spun around by Grant and knocked right into it.
Well, Charles Grant is a powerful guy. He's an upfield guy. And they're going to have, the Saints, if they want to win this game and keep the playoff hopes alive, they're going to have to take the line of scrimmage back over and shut Fred Taylor down and keep him inside.
Taylor trying to bounce it outside, won't get there. Cedric Hodge came around and made the stop.
That's the second time we've seen Cedric Hodge do a nice job of coming up as he out. And Hodge is a speed guy too. He's out there more for his range than he is for his physical play. But he comes up and he does a nice job of containing this run and keeping Fred Taylor inside. See it right there? That's a nice job. He gets up under Chris Naoli, who's, you know, much bigger than him, but he does it with leverage.
Hodge, the guy they really missed early on, broke his leg in week 2, missed 7 games, but since he's been back, has kind of solidified their defense.
Here's where they can blitz Byron Leftwich.
On 3rd down, Taylor lost his footing right on the 25-yard line, and that may have been the difference in the first down because they only needed the 23. Another decision for the Jaguars. They went for it in this situation last time.
Yeah, I said they could blitz Kirk because that was one of those 3rd and long. It was a passing situation, but Fred Taylor has had such great success running the ball today. He's averaging about 6 yards a carry, that even on 3rd and 7 they say, well, we might as well just hand it off to Fred Taylor.
And Jack Del Rio will go for it on 4th down once again. They've had more 4th down attempts than any team in the National Football League this year. Fred Taylor won't get that one.
Boy, that was a great play by Jay Bellamy.
Yeah, he lost half a yard on the play as Bellamy got right in there and made the stop. And the Jaguars will turn it over on downs. Each defense coming up big on the first possessions here in the second half.
Jay Bellamy with a huge play on 4th down. He's the safety. Watch him right back here. He comes up and he fills the hole perfectly on Fred Taylor. He dials him up. Look at that hit right there. And knocks Fred Taylor right backwards.
Bellamy with 9 tackles in the ball game. Brooks short-armed it to Deuce McAllister, and it falls incomplete. There is a penalty flag down in the secondary.
I don't know if it's against the Jaguars. It may be against Rasheem Mathis, the rookie, trying to cover Jerome Pathon.
Personal foul, grabbing and twisting the face mask, 27 defense, 15 yards, automatic first down.
And it is Rasheem Mathis. Now he's singled up out here on Pathon, and Pathon gets behind him. And you see him grab the mask right there.
That's a 3rd face mask penalty we've seen against Jacksonville today.
Well, Mathis is a lot more comfortable in his coverage when he's got a safety behind him to help in that coverage.
Gives him the first down at the 40. McAllister forced out of bounds by Aiken Adele. You know, this game right now it's 17-10. Pretty typical of the way these two defenses have played over the last 6 weeks. You'll see Saints giving up just 18 points a game. Jaguars 4 points better.
I think when you talk to the Jaguars and you're around Jacksonville, that's part of the reason why they're really excited. If you look at them over the last six games, they're looking at the end of this season kind of as really the beginning of next season. They want to try to win these last games and carry that momentum into 2004. The way the Carolina Panthers did, the way the Minnesota Vikings did at the end of last season.
Play clock was down to 2 seconds. Saints will use a timeout to save a penalty. 6:41 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. 17-10 our score in Jacksonville. Fox NFL Sunday continues from Jacksonville, where listen to the music and I'm betting those guys are rooting for the Saints. The Neville brothers out of New Orleans, hoping their team can get a win today to stay alive in the playoff hunt. Jacksonville thinking otherwise as Deuce McAllister makes the catch out of the backfield, gets a Saints first down into Jacksonville territory.
Well, Kurt, that play suggests that the Saints have got the passing game back on track. Before now, this game started out, it hasn't been on track. Drop passes, miscues, batted balls,
Aaron Brooks goes deep. The coverage is there. The catch isn't. There's a miscue on third down. Pass into the dirt by Brooks. A drop by Deuce McAllister. If they're going to win this game, they've got to do what they did on the last play. A nice pass and a nice catch.
They do it the other way this time, and similar results as McAllister will pick up 16 yards on the catch. Adele forced him out of bounds.
Yeah, that's what they've got to do. They've got to get this passing game back into a rhythm. We said from the beginning, Aaron Brooks is a guy who, when he's hot, he can destroy you. When he's cold, this team just kind of limps along. They've limped along so far, but I feel like in the last couple of plays here, they're starting to heat up.
First down, ball inside the 30. Lamar Smith now in the backfield. Brooks. Walter Rasby in the big tight end. Going to be gang tackled after a pickup of 7 yards on the play and knocked out of bounds. Fernando Bryant, Mike Peterson in there, and Rasby's a guy who dislocated his finger 3 times in the game against the Giants last week, but is right back out there making plays.
He does an excellent job, because I'll tell you what, Aaron Brooks didn't take any of the sauce off that ball. He whipped it out there fast and hard. Rasby had to, his hands had to hurt, and then the rest of them had to hurt with the shot he took.
The pitch to Lamar Smith. Smith going to be out near that first down marker. He got it. Gain of 4 on the play. Deuce McAllister, after taking a breather, ready for action once again and hoping to get something done. He's got 15 carries for only 34 yards in this ball game, and as you mentioned, came in as the leading rusher in the NFC. Total yardage leader in the NFC as well.
Part of the reason I think he struggled today, Kurt, is this Jacksonville defensive line with Henderson and Stroud in the middle really made it tough for the Saints offensive line to open up any kind of holes at all. There's the 2 big guys right there.
McAllister caught in the backfield. He'll be dropped for a loss. And
Donovan Darius. And he is the emotional leader of this Jacksonville defense. And he told us after the first 4 games, and they were embarrassed, they were humiliated, and he went to the players one by one and said, you know what, let's start it with practice. Let's start and everyone finish the play in practice. Do just a little bit more. He said guys have responded.
John Carney comes out for the field goal. My mistake. Lamar Smith had not gotten the first down, so this is a 4th down, and they get the 38-yard field goal to pull within 4.
Kurt, you got a big boat like that, don't you?
Yeah, just like that.
Well, you know, one of those.
Well, mine's just a little itty-bitty, barely above a rowboat, okay?
Did you ever put a Santa Claus on the bow?
There have been many things on the bow that we cannot discuss right here on national television, trust me. This is a good place if you do like boating, this First Coast area. River and sea here in Jacksonville. David Allen. Allen with a nice return out to the 36-yard line. That's where the Jaguars, led by the rookie, will try to hold on to the lead. Mark Brunell spent the first 2 of his 11-year career as one of the many backups to Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers, but traded to Jacksonville for a 3rd and 5th round pick when the franchise came into existence, and he was the only quarterback that everyone knew here in Jacksonville, at least as a starter, until this season.
And he really has everything. He's got great mobility. He can run the football. He's got a great arm. He sees the field. He's a leader. He's the complete deal.
Fred Taylor gets away, and Taylor, after being wrapped up in the backfield, will fight his way forward for a gain of about 6. And you know Mark Brunell loved that, as Brunell was the face of this franchise for so many years, along with Fred Taylor and Jimmy Smith. Helped lead the franchise to 2 AFC title games in his 9 years as a starter, but injured his elbow after the 3rd game of this season, and after a weird situation in which he was a starter, then he wasn't the starter, but never got back in the game, is now the third-team quarterback and in the stadium for the final time as a Jaguar, everyone acknowledges.
But he'll be somewhere next year, Kurt. People are talking maybe Dallas, maybe San Francisco if Jeff Garcia doesn't get a contract worked out, or not worked out, but if they decide not to take the big hit on his $10 million deal next year, or maybe Oakland. You know what else? Maybe Carolina.
Well, there's about 50. Well, I think DeLome gets him into the playoffs. Would be a guy that they would like to keep, but you never know. I mean, you don't know what's going to be open. Jeff Blake could be gone in Arizona. I mean, there's a million different situations right now where starters' jobs may be opening, especially with all the coaching changes expected this offseason. Leftwich lofts one up, and it's caught. George Reister, the big tight end, with his first catch of the ball game. Give him 30.
Well, we've been talking about Mark Brunell, and of course the reason why he's going to be out of here is because Byron Leftwich is the guy, the heir apparent. And here's the tight end sneaking open on that route, right in the zone, and Leftwich lobs it right in there. Of course, the thing about Byron Leftwich, besides his calm demeanor, and his size, is the way he throws the ball downfield. Throws great in this area here, outside and deep.
Now it's Fred Taylor running inside, and Taylor will pick up 7 yards on the carry.
Fred Taylor just having a huge day today against the Saints defense. But yeah, I have to go back to the beginning and remember that the Saints defense, they're 26th in the National Football League against the run. 8th against the pass. That's where they're at their best. Not as good against the run, and Fred Taylor has exploited them today.
On second down, Leftwich, quick pass, and that was intended for the fullback, but dropped by Mark Edwards. Incomplete.
That was one of those, when you have a rookie with a strong arm, oftentimes, and he was rushed on that because he had pressure on his face, but oftentimes the thing that a guy like Mark Brunell has that Leftwich doesn't have yet, but probably will have, is touch on those shorter passes. Where when you're young, you just gun it in there. Michael Vick did the same thing last season when he was a young starter for the Falcons.
Third and short, needing the 15-yard line. Leftwich from the shotgun, hands it off to Taylor. And there, once again, he bounces outside, but dragged down by Jay Bellamy. Bellamy with his 10th tackle in this ball game, and that was a big one. Prevented a third down from being converted.
Yeah, Bellamy was the same guy who stuffed Fred Taylor on the 4th down the last time the Jaguars were down here. And on this one here, as you said, Fred Taylor bouncing it outside. And he just hooks him by the collar, corrals him down.
Seth Marler comes on. He's already made one from 43 yards. This will be an attempt from 35 yards away. And Marler re-extends it to a 7-point lead. Jaguars up 20-13 late in the third. On the playoff picture, looking at the NFC, Philadelphia Eagles can clinch the NFC East with a win today. They're looking at home field, trying to battle it out with the St. Louis Rams, who are in a fight for a home field as well. The Carolina Panthers have already wrapped up the NFC South division, and they're thinking about trying to get a bye. A lot of that can be determined today. Much of it will go down to the final week of the regular season, and the Saints are hoping that they can win today to be a factor in that final week. Jack Del Rio is hoping that his team can be the Carolina Panthers of next year. Remember, Carolina last year won 7 games. Jacksonville won't get to that, but they lost a lot of close games. They lost, I believe, 5 games in the last 2 minutes last year. This year, Carolina's won 8 games in the last 2 minutes. Michael Lewis. Lewis will have nowhere to run as he's brought down right at the 14-yard line by Deke Cooper. Well, let's look at the playoff picture in the AFC, and you know what? I think right now the New England Patriots are the best team in the National Football League as they are on the verge of clinching home field. The Chiefs still struggling. All of a sudden, after that fast start, got blown out in Minnesota yesterday. The Colts have a chance to wrap up the AFC South with a win and also clinch a first round bye if they can. The playoffs in the AFC, that picture a little more settled, and right now, if you look at it, with the exception of Philadelphia and St. Louis, the best teams in football appear to be AFC squads. Here's Brooks. That one caught by the big tight end, Boo Williams. Going to the fourth quarter, Jaguars holding on to that 7-point lead and a must-win for the Saints.
From the Fox Technical crew, we wish you a happy holidays.
Always love it when the audio guys get involved because you can wish them see, and they always freak out because they think something's wrong with the microphone. Old trick, old trick. Those guys have done a fine job, our entire technical staff, all season long.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't do what we do without them. First down, Brooks. Ahead, incomplete. Intended for Boo Williams. Rasheed Mathis making a diving attempt. And, you know, right now we keep going back to the fact that the Saints have to win this ball game. This cable gets in the way. Don't you hate when that happens? But right now, they are being dominated. Oh, it's their fault, right? They're being dominated just about in every phase by this defense of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And what we saw in that last play, and what we've seen a lot from this Jacksonville defense today, is a lot of blitzing, a lot of guys getting upfield, not only disrupting the passing game, but disrupting the run game as well.
Not picking up much on the run by McAllister there, but we need to run out to L.A. and check in with JB.
Hey, Kurt and Tim, take a look here. Rex Grossman looking very, very nice indeed. Second touchdown toss for the young rookie here. This one to Justin Gage, an 11-yard strike, and it's all tied at 17. Back to Kurt Menefee and Tim Green.
Rookie to rookie, you talked about those Chicago Bears and the youth that they have, believing that they are on the verge of being a team that can ride a good streak into next season.
And Rex Grossman, like Byron Leftwich, is a guy who really remains incredibly calm under pressure.
Saints need the 34 for the first. Penalty flag on the play. Caught by Joe Horn at the 44. A gain of 20, but let's see what the flag's all about as Horn is still down. And if it stands, that's just the second catch all day.
Offside, 95 defense, penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
And Joe Horn's second catch will count, but he still hasn't gotten up.
Well, Aaron Brooks had plenty of time to complete that pass downfield. Joe Horn, Fernando Bryant had the coverage on Horn, and he rolls over the top of him.
Well, it appears to be his left shoulder. You see him grab at it right away. And, you know, Horn has been a guy who has battled with a bad knee all season long. Hasn't practiced a lot of weeks, but gone into games and is on the verge of having another 1,000-yard year. Here's Deuce McAllister. McAllister lost the football. Jacksonville recovers. Penalty flag down as well. Well, let's see them sort this one out. Rasheed Mathis recovered the fumble, but hold on a second. This could be a huge call as the Saints are still down by that touchdown. Not only needing to score, but needing to get some momentum somehow as they try and get a win and stay alive in the playoff hunt.
You take a look at the fumble. There's the ball, and you know it just slips out of Deuce McAllister's hands. No one even hit it.
There's no penalty on the play. The runner ran through the leg of the defender. The defender did not trip the runner. The runner ran through it. It had nothing to do with the fumble. Therefore, we have a fumble on the replay, and the result is first down.
And it will stand. McAllister fumbles, Mathis recovers, and the Saints are in trouble. It's still a one-touchdown game. There's still a lot of time left to play, but the Saints need to get something going offensively, and that certainly doesn't help. Saints came in with the most fumbles lost in the National Football League, and Deuce McAllister just lost one that Jim Haslett spent the whole break pleading his case, trying to get it back, but to no avail as the Jaguars take over on the 47-yard line. Fred Taylor scooting outside. There's penalty flags come flying everywhere as he's dropped for a loss of 2, but there may be a face mask call on this one. Joe Horn over there on the sideline. You can see he's still in pain.
I think if the Saints are going to win this game and keep their playoff hopes alive, their defense has got to shut down the Jaguars right now.
Holding, 64 on the offense. Personal foul, grabbing and pulling the face mask, 94 on the defense. Penalties offset, replay first down.
You know what they call that in the schoolyard, Tim? It's a do-over.
That is a do-over. And that's not a good do-over for the Saints. It's a better do-over for Jacksonville. Because if the Saints, if the play had stood, Leftwich would have been looking at 2nd and 10. Now it's first down, and they get to start over.
The handoff to Taylor gets away from a tackle, and Fred Taylor will pick up 4 yards on the play. And
I think the good thing you get to see about Fred Taylor is that even when someone gets on him, he does pick up the tough yards. And we've talked all day about how effective he is, especially on the outside. And he always wants to break those runs to the outside because he's got the moves and he's got the speed, and he can make people miss, and he likes to be out in that open space. But on that last play too, you saw that he will put his shoulder down and bowl you over for an extra 2 or 3 yards as well.
Ball in Saints territory at the 49-yard line. Hard count by Leftwich, draws the flag. Taylor through the hole. Fred Taylor down inside the 25-yard line to the 23. Fred Thomas finally made the stop after a gain of 26. And I think they'll take this over the offsides penalty, huh?
Offside, 94. Penalty is declined. Result of play is a first down.
Well, that play was actually an inside run, but you see, coming into this, the best success he's had has been to the outside, where he averages almost 10 yards a carry. I mean, 9.1 yards a carry. That one there, as I said, that's an inside run, but even when he runs it to the inside, Kurt, you can see him veering to the outside.
Fred Taylor, 170 yards rushing, another 31 receiving. LeBrandon Tofield will pick up 3 yards on the run, maybe 4. Let's check in with JB out in LA for another game for him.
Hey, Kurt and Jim, Detroit is finally on the scoreboard and in impressive fashion. Reggie Swinson on this punt return here, 89 yards to pay dirt, but it's still 20-7 Carolina. Hey, Tim, here's Terry Bradshaw for you again.
Hey, Tim, the great thing about being from the South is after a divorce, you can still call your ex-wife cuz.
Back to Kurt and Tim.
I don't know, man. He's getting out of control. He might have to shave that beard and mustache.
And see, you said he was quiet.
He's responded nicely.
Second down, ball on the 19-yard line. Leftwich rolling out, tucking it in, and has room inside the 10. Finally stopped at the 7-yard line by Tabucky Jones. It'll be first and goal for the Jaguars.
Tell you what, Byron Leftwich doesn't have the niftiest moves, but this was an incredibly effective move on the outside. Watch him here. And again, I think the thing about Byron Leftwich is his vision. He sees the field better than a lot of young quarterbacks, and there he just saw a lot of open space. Put one move on a guy to the inside.
Fred Thomas is still injured on the field, which is why it's taking a little while to get this next play set up as the medical staff comes out to treat him. And, you know, Thomas, one of their better cover corners. They're missing Joe Horn on offense. And, you know, things right now for the New Orleans Saints. Exactly.
Well, as I said, I thought that after the Deuce McAllister fumble, that the Saints defense really needed to shut down Jacksonville's offense, to really kind of hang on to whatever momentum they might have had. I think it's hard in a game like this, and you're fighting for your playoff life, and you're still alive, when you can't run the football successfully. You know what I'm saying? You feel as a player, as a team, like, you know what? We're not beating this other team. We're not winning this game. And so far today, Deuce McAllister has only averaged 2.5 a carry. So I don't think the Saints feel like they're beating the Jaguars. They feel like the Jaguars are beating them, especially on the line of scrimmage.
1st and goal from the 7. Fred Taylor. Fall forward for a gain of 2 on the play. Jonathan Sullivan with the tackle.
And then on the other side of it, Fred Taylor with over 170 yards. So the Saints defensively, they feel like, you know, we're getting beat up.
Well, the trends continue.
Well,
as far as the run game goes, the Saints can be run on, and the Jaguars cannot.
And it's a psychological thing, Kurt. When someone is running the football, someone could throw the ball on you or get a big play here or there. You can kind of write it off. But when you're being run on, you're being physically dominated.
Taylor again. Picks up 2 yards again. Stopped at the 3 by Darren Howard, but inch by inch, foot by foot, yard by yard, the Saints season is coming closer to an end if they don't stop them here.
Yeah,
maybe.
But they're doing well right now. I mean, on 1st down and 2nd down, and Darren Howard, who was the guy on that play, they did shut Fred Taylor down.
Well, the Saints want to keep this obviously as close as possible, and with their high-powered, explosive offense, they can score in chunks.
Yeah.
But they can't be down by 2 touchdowns trying to come back late in the fourth
quarter. And I don't
know
how high-powered they'll be without Joe Horn if he doesn't come back in.
Leftwich overthrew his intended receiver, Kevin Johnson. Well, that could be a costly miss. Instead of getting a touchdown and going up by 2 touchdowns, they'll have to try a field goal.
Well, it's just a little out pattern here by Kevin Johnson. You're going to see Byron Leftwich and Johnson just not connecting. The ball is just out of Kevin Johnson's reach.
Seth Marler 2 for 2 today. Good from 43 and 35. Trying this one from 21. It's blocked. 3rd straight game that the Saints have blocked a field goal attempt. And this one is huge. Fakir Brown with the block that keeps it at a 1-touchdown game.
Talk about regaining the momentum. Jacksonville drove the short field after the Deuce fumble, but they held them on the run game, and then they blocked the field goal. Saints still alive.
When you need a TO, where else are you going to go but Terrell Owens as he's checking in. Nice coach, brother. Into Philadelphia, where Donovan McNabb getting out of his Hummer and wearing a nice suit into the Lincoln Financial Field as the 49ers and Eagles get ready for Game 2 of our Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. And in Game 1 right now, Joe Horn is on the sideline, has a sprained left shoulder. His return is questionable. Michael Lewis now in there with the Saints down by a touchdown. And the pass caught by Dante Stallworth, wrapped up by Rasheed Mathis after a pickup of about 6 yards on the play. But without Joe Horn down by a touchdown, how big was that block right now to keep this at a 7-point game?
It was huge, and Fakir Brown did it off the edge, which is the hardest place. Normally you don't see field goals blocked from the edge there. Most of the time, most of the blocks come up the middle with a big tall guy knocking it down, but Brown had great get off and great speed to get it off the edge.
Deuce McAllister caught in the backfield, but gets away from Fernando Bryant and picks up the 1st down. And McAllister out to the 35-yard line before being knocked out of bounds.
Take one more look at the block. You're going to see Fakir Brown. He comes right off the edge there, and you see how far he has to come, and he has to launch himself a good 6 or 7 yards from the kick point of the ball.
First down at the 35. Brooks changing the play at the line of scrimmage. Play clock winding down to 3 when he got it off. Brooks looking deep for Stallworth.
Oh.
Incomplete, no flag.
Right in Stallworth's hands.
Rasheed Mathis was right there with him.
Well, Kurt, this game is so important for the Saints because when you look at the NFC playoff picture, here they are, 7-7, still alive, but clearly in the back of the pack. Cowboys look like they're going to beat the Giants today, and that will lock up a spot for them.
And so they would be one of 3 teams fighting for just 1 playoff spot left. But the Saints, bottom line, have to win today and have to win next week against Dallas, and then get help on top of that. Bull Williams with the catch. Going to be brought down right at the 41-yard line by Aiken Adell. Bull Williams has become a significant part of this offense today. So far in this ball game, Williams has stepped up and had 4 catches.
And I would expect the Jacksonville defense now to come with the blitz on Aaron Brooks, because the blitz has been effective for them today. It's kept Aaron Brooks out of his rhythm, and he's starting to get his rhythm, and I think to get him out, they're going to want to blitz him and get in his face.
They need the 45 for the first.
I'll be shocked if these guys don't come. There they come.
And they convert it. Michael Lewis. Lewis out to the 47-yard line before Fernando Bryant makes the tackle, but the Saints keep the drive alive with Joe Horn standing on the sideline still.
Well, Aaron Brooks beat the blitz on this play. Here they come. Look at them. There's a bunch of bodies. One of them came free, but Brooks made a quick decision, and he quickly fired the ball out to the outside.
First down near midfield. McAllister still unable to run, and Deuce McAllister picks up just a yard on that one.
McAllister up the middle for a gain of 1.
Still unable to run is right. But, you know, when you think about it, this Jacksonville defense has shut down what the best that the AFC has to offer. I mean, they really limited Jamal Lewis from the Baltimore Ravens. LaDainian Tomlinson coming into this game. The top runners from all their teams have only averaged 53 yards a game against this Jacksonville defense. Of course, Marcus Stroud, you saw there, the Pro Bowl defensive tackle, a big part of the reason.
McAllister has 46 on 19 carries.
Oh, boy.
He's got 48 on 20 right now, but
I don't
2 yards is not what they need in this situation.
I don't get two runs in a row against this defense when they've had no success today. Look at this. Deuce McAllister, yeah, coming into today, 5.0 a carry, 3rd in the NFL. But today, less than half of that. The thing that it has been working at times has been the passing game.
Might it be an attempt to set up the passing game with play action or something like that?
3rd and 6, everyone knows they're going to pass, and again, it opens you up again for the blitz.
They need the 41 to convert. Here comes the blitz. Backpedaling, Brooks overthrows his intended receiver, Dante Stallworth, and he was just doing all he could to get rid of Aiken Adell on that one.
See, 3rd and 6 is blitzing time, because you know it's going to be a pass, especially with how this Jacksonville defense has shut down McAllister, and then here they come. And watch, a blitzer actually comes free from the outside, so Aaron Brooks does not have any time to let that play develop. Jacksonville defense has blitzed more today than they have against any team all season, and it's worked.
High punt from Mitch Berger, taken by David Allen at the 16, and with 5:33 left to go, Jaguars have the ball and a 7-point lead. Well, plenty of holiday cheer if you're a Jaguar fan right now with 5.5 minutes to go. Your team's up by a touchdown, but right now, the Jaguars playing the role of the Grinch that stole the playoffs if they hold on to this win, as the Saints need to win this game and next week to stay alive in the NFC playoff hunt.
Their defense has got to stop Fred Taylor and come up with a big play.
Penalty flag on the play as Taylor picks up 3 yards.
It looks like they did part one. This is what they did on the last drive, Kurt. They stopped Fred Taylor, and they came up with a big play.
And they get a holding penalty on Jacksonville this time.
Kurt, the last time they were down on the goal line defense, Fred Taylor tried to run 2 times. Saints defense answered. They shut him down. Then they put pressure on Leftwich. He missed throws on that pass. And then the big play was the block by Fakir Brown, blocking the field goal, keeping the Saints alive. Their defense has got to do the same type of thing again, this time on the opposite end of the field. They've got to swarm and they've got to blitz.
Taylor again. Fred Taylor still fighting. Going to be stopped right at the 11-yard line.
I think Rick Venturi, the defensive coordinator for the Saints, knows that any tricks he's got, any high-pressure defenses he's got, now's the time to use them. They've got to get the ball back. They've got to get the ball back quick. Jacksonville did him a huge favor with the holding call.
Backed them way up and deep in their own territory. It gives them a chance to pin their ears back here on 2nd and 14. Oh. Darren Howard, what a play. He just leapfrogged right over Fred Taylor, got into the backfield and was all over Byron Leftwich. And that's Mike Pearson, the left tackle, who was slow to get up. But talk about a play by Howard.
Amazing. Watch Darren Howard. Look at him right here. Leap over that block. And he's on Leftwich before Leftwich knows what's happening.
Now you know why Bill Musgrave was so concerned about Howard with abilities like that. That ball tipped at the line of scrimmage, still caught along the sideline. Jimmy Smith with the catch. That was a nice job of concentration by Smith on a ball that got deflected.
It was a nice
now it's out of bounds.
Yeah.
So no gain on the play.
Howard came with the pressure again. There's the catch. I think that's a good call.
Did
by
not
the
get
officials.
that second foot down, apparently.
There's, you know, not even close,
yeah.
really. Terry Wallace, our low end zone cameraman, with that shot.
So a key 3rd down for the Saints defense. And they call timeout. No, did not get it. Leftwich can't find a receiver, and he'll be tripped up. Charles Grant brings him down for the 2nd sack on this series. And you talked about the Saints defense needing to stand tall. They certainly did it.
Well, that was a coverage sack, Kurt. That was excellent coverage by the Saints secondary downfield, because Byron Leftwich had lots and lots of time. Now, if you're the Saints, I've got to believe that they're going to go, instead of trying to go for a block, even though it's the punter is backed up in the end zone with Michael Lewis back there, I think you go for the return and try to get the best field position that you can.
This is the first punt all day by the Jaguars. Mark Royals in the back of his end zone, trying to get off a good one to deny a good field position to the Saints, as Michael Lewis is standing at the 45-yard line looking for a good return. And Royals gets it off, but it's not pretty. That one will bounce and is picked up short. Victor Green makes the scoop, and talk about great field position. They will start at about the 25-yard line of Jacksonville, as Royals got off a horrible punt of just 30 yards.
That was a heads-up play by Victor Green, who flew in last night from New York.
Jim Haslett and his Saints trying to avoid another December collapse. Actually lost their last 4 games in 2001. That 4th game was in January. Knocked them out of playoff position, losing the last 4 in 2001, the last 3 last year, when it looked like they were going to be a playoff team beforehand. Here's Deuce McAllister going nowhere. No gain on the play as he's stopped by Aiken Adel. And right now they're trying to stay alive. Going into December, they had a shot at the playoffs. They're 1-1 so far in the month, but need to be 2-0 from here on if they want to stay alive in the playoff hunt and get help.
And as we said, it's going to be a lot harder for them right now, Kurt, with Joe Horn on the sideline. We saw him with the sprained shoulder. The biggest weapon that Aaron Brooks has to throw to downfield. So
there's Brooks under pressure. Boo Williams. Williams with running room down to the 10-yard line, and the Saints still have hope.
I like that play as much as I didn't like them running Deuce McAllister 2 times in a row on the last series before they had to give it up. The little pump fake to the outside where the receivers are, and then Boo Williams on a little slant pass in the center of the defense.
First down. McAllister slipped in the backfield, will fall forward for a gain of about 2 yards on the play. And you know, Tim, we've talked offense and defense and all this, but this game could come down to 2 special teams plays in the blocked field goal by the Saints that kept it at 7 points, and the bad punt by Mark Royals of only 30 yards that gave him the ball at the 28.
Right, but still, the Saints are going to have to come up with a score right now, and they've got to stop handing the ball off to Deuce. I know he's a Pro Bowl player, and I know he's a great player, but today has not been his day. He's lost his handle on the ball twice, and he's averaging half his normal average.
Draw play, Brooks nowhere to go. He'll be stopped for no gain.
And that is a tough pull. Look, Marcus Stroud is sitting right there, and John Henderson. If you're going to do that play, again, I think it's okay because Brooks can run, but get him to the edge.
Can't go up the middle against these guys.
Not against those guys, really. They've shut down the middle all day long, and Jim Haslett is without LaCharles Bentley, the all-pro right guard for the Saints.
Jacksonville called the timeout. 2:16 left to play. Owning at 7-point lead is Jack Del Rio and company. Watch Joe Horn standing on the sideline, and you see him over there. He still can't lift that arm above his shoulders. Or maybe he can.
Well, Boo Williams was the guy who came up with the one Saints touchdown pass today. He's a big target.
Joe Horn did go over and get his helmet, so he's trying to convince the coaches to let him back in the ball game. But right now, his team's got a 3rd down at the 9-yard line. 3rd and goal. Brooks zips it through the hands of Donovan Darius. They do get a penalty marker. Michael Lewis was the intended receiver, but Darius had a chance at a pick.
And I don't know if they're calling it on Fernando Bryant.
Jack
Del Rio saying uncatchable ball.
First down on the 1.
What Jack Del Rio is saying is that ball was tipped.
Oh, and if it was tipped,
then there is no pass interference.
There is no pass interference. No, I don't think it was. Here's the pass interference right there.
Unless it was after Darius touched the ball. Now, I don't think it was, but that may be what Del Rio is arguing, as he's got the flag out right now. Gerald Austin discussing it with them, and remember, with 2:11 left, this is still the coach's responsibility to challenge. It does not automatically go up to the booth.
Jacksonville is challenging the play that the ball was tipped. The play will be reviewed.
Oh, Gerald Austin will take a look at it to see whether or not this is tipped. A big decision to be made by the officials. We'll have it when we come back. Well, a key instant replay challenge as far as the Jaguars are concerned because they want to win. But for the Saints, it's even bigger because if they don't get this one, it'll be 4th down for them in a game they absolutely have to win to stay alive in the playoff hunt. If they do, have their call upheld, the officials' call, it'll be 1st and goal for them. Now the question is, where was the ball tipped and where was the interference call?
Right, well, it wasn't tipped at the line of scrimmage there, but Donovan Darius does get a hand on it right there. So he does tip it, and as you said, the question is, did the pass interference call come before that tip?
Here's the call.
After reviewing the play, the ball is tipped by number 20, therefore pass interference cannot occur. It'll be 4th down and goal at the 9-yard line.
And the Jaguars win a huge challenge. No pass interference. See, Darius tipped it right there. Then they call pass interference. Yep. Therefore, the tip negates the pass interference. And now Jim Haslett will try and present his side of the case. Well, this play has been reviewed, and so the pass interference will not count. It will be 4th down regardless.
Well, timing is a factor, and I'm sure Haslett is arguing that Jerry Austin, one of the things Jerry Austin didn't say was that the pass interference occurred after the tip. He just said that there was a tip, so there was no pass interference.
Now the flag seemed, once again, you don't know when his eyes saw it when he threw the flag, but it seemed to come out after the ball was tipped and that play in the end zone where he grabbed him. But once again, that's supposition on our part. All we know is that this play has been reviewed, and they determined that Darius tipped it before what they thought was pass interference happened, and therefore there is no pass interference. It's a 4th down. Ball inside the 10-yard line. 4th and goal, Saints needing the touchdown to tie and stay alive for playoff berth in the NFC. Batted, incomplete, and Brooks kicks it away, and that could be it with just over 2 minutes left in this ball game. Could be it for the Saints season.
Jacksonville comes with the blitz as they have all day long against Aaron Brooks. They've gotten him out of his rhythm. And watch Paul Spicer, 95, comes, loops around, and he gets his hand up there. But you see the linebackers both coming from the outside and getting the pressure on Aaron Brooks.
New Orleans working with only 1 timeout left. Of course, there's the 2-minute warning, and Haslett is livid, you know, because of that pass interference call that was overturned in the end zone. Penalty flag down on this play as well. Fred Taylor with the carry, and Taylor has carried the ball 30 times in this ball game. We'll see what this flag is.
Tripping, 90 defense, 10 yards, automatic 1st down.
Kenny Smith. Well, this Saints team started out the year 1-4 and has been battling ever since, just trying to play catch up to get to 500, to get alive in the playoff race. Got it back to even at 7-7, but barring a big play by their defense here, they're going to drop below 500 and be eliminated from the playoff hunt. After the penalty, ball on the 22-yard line. Final play before the 2-minute warning. Taylor to Bucky Jones and Derek Rogers with the tackle.
Really more of the same, Kurt. Fred Taylor running on this New Orleans defense.
Well, Fred Taylor has had a busy afternoon, over 200 total yards, and his team looking for the victory. You know what, Tim? You got to have earplugs if you're going to be an official near Jim Haslett right now. Anyone wearing a striped shirt during that timeout, he let have it.
Well, I think the reason why he's so hot is because when Jerry Austin, after he reviewed it, said that the ball was tipped, therefore there was no pass interference. But I'm pretty sure that if the pass interference occurred
before the tip, then there was pass interference.
Right, and they would have let it stand. Therefore, it was after it was tipped to drag down in the end zone, and they realized it. And
that was never
Jonathan Sullivan jumping off early.
We have encroachment, 97 defense, 5 yards. The result of the penalty is a first down. It was personal foul. 97 was letting up as he got to the quarterback.
Jonathan Sullivan, the rookie out of Georgia, and the rookie from Marshall, Byron Leftwich, is on the verge of picking up his 4th straight win at home to go 4-0 here in Jacksonville as the Jaguars quarterback. Part of the reason the Jaguars believe their future is bright.
Well, this day here for the Jaguars belong to the offensive line and Fred Taylor.
Taylor, 31 carries, 187 yards rushing. 2 catches for another 31, but it was his abilities on the ground that really opened things up all day long. Taylor with carry number 32. Fighting back to the line of scrimmage and not much else. Darren Smith with the tackle. New Orleans using what is their final timeout. I would welcome those of you that watched Carolina beat Detroit. Jim Haslett and the New Orleans Saints down by a touchdown, 1:50 left to go, and Haslett still talking with our referee Gerald Austin because they had a pass interference penalty called that would have given them 1st and goal. Instead, it was negated on a replay challenge, and instead of being 1st and goal, it was 4th and goal, and they wound up having the pass batted down and basically ended their chances of a comeback here with just over 2 minutes left at that time. New Orleans Saints, with a loss, will be eliminated from the playoff hunt. Jacksonville has led from the beginning. Fred Taylor going to be dropped for a loss of maybe a yard by Darren Howard, but Taylor has had quite a day. That's his 33rd carry. He's got 187 yards rushing.
Well, we had to wait until the 4th quarter before Jacksonville ever punted the ball.
Well, we welcome those of you that watch the Dallas Cowboys beat the New York Football Giants as the Saints are about to have their season come to an end with a loss here in Jacksonville, barring a Joe Pisarcik type play in which the ball is fumbled and run back for a touchdown. Byron Leftwich, the quarterback, not a spectacular day, only 9 of 17 for 131 yards, but this guy has been amazing all day long as Fred Taylor picks up a couple more before being stopped by Darren Smith. But Fred Taylor, kind of the forgotten running back in the National Football League, playing down here in Jacksonville. This is his 31st straight game, and everyone talked about the injuries that he had, especially in 2001, which caused him to miss 14 games. But since then, he's bounced back. He's put up 1,200-yard seasons. Right now, he's got 194 yards rushing in this game.
Jacksonville came into this game wanting to take the pressure off their rookie quarterback, Brian Leftwich. They did that by running with Fred Taylor, and their defense did a great job of shutting down Deuce McAllister, who was the NFC's leading rusher coming into today.
And the Jaguars will use a timeout here just to avoid having the play clock wind down, but they wanted to use as much of the clock as they possibly could. 21 seconds left to go. Saints down by a touchdown, and they do have a dangerous return man in Michael Lewis, who was a Pro Bowler last year, back to try and return this punt, and if not take it all the way, certainly give them good field position to have a shot at tying the game.
The bad news for the Saints is they're not going to have much time, and they're not going to have Joe Horn. Apparently, he got taken out of the game with an injured shoulder in the 3rd quarter and has not returned since.
Mark Royals has only had 1 punt. It only traveled 30 yards. This is second. He gets it off. It's a low kick. And Lewis will scoop it up. And he won't get far. Ray Perryman makes the tackle. And Aaron Brooks and the Saints will have 1 more shot at it. 11 seconds left. Well, we welcome everyone who has just joined us here as the Saints need to win today and next week against Dallas and get help in order to make the playoffs. But with 11 seconds left in the fourth quarter, Jim Haslett's team is down by a touchdown to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And Joe Horn is back out on the field, Kurt. He's been out. No, he's not. It's Stallworth. Excuse me.
Stallworth goes in motion, 3 receivers to Brooks' left. That one batted down. Paul Spicer gets in there and knocks it away.
Well, there's been a lot of key plays in today's game, but the one that the Saints fans are going to be talking about is this one here. The ball just tipped by Donovan Darius. You see there's a pass interference right there on Fernando Bryant. And then on the 4th down after the play is reviewed, the ball is batted back into Aaron Brooks' face. Jaguars blitzing defense. They blitzed all day today and were extremely disruptive to the Saints passing game.
7 seconds to go. Brooks. Dante Stallworth catches it, stays in bounds. He's going to have to score on this one, and he's got a chance. Getting a couple of blocks, laterals it over to Michael Lewis. Back to McAllister. Still alive.
Oh,
and they got it. Jerome Payton with the catch. He dives into the end zone for the touchdown. What a play to keep your season alive. 75 yards and the score.
The only thing missing was the Stanford band.
As Jack Buck once said, I don't believe what I just saw. Now, you know that this will be reviewed to make sure there were no forward passes, but there didn't appear to be.
Well, the one that was the closest was the one that Stallworth threw across the field. I'm sure it is being reviewed up top. What an incredible play. Aaron Brooks pump fakes to the left, comes back to Dante Stallworth. Here's the one right there, right here, Kurt. Stallworth to Lewis.
Watching it in live action, everything looked clean. Looked like they were behind each time.
That was a great shot by McAllister.
And what
really
about
a great pass.
And they had several good blocks here. And as we suspected, they are taking a look at this in the replay booth to make sure that every pass was behind.
This is the one right here. That's the closest. You see that? That was very close.
Aaron Brooks with a nice block. Sprung it.
The great thing, too, that they did was they got the ball in the hands of guys who are used to handling the ball. Receivers and Deuce McAllister, the running back. Oh, it was all receivers.
Now, when you played with the Falcons, you had a lot of desperate situations. Did you ever see that play even practice before? I mean, because it looked like they knew exactly what they were doing.
That's the kind of play that Jerry Glanville would practice. Here's the questionable one right here when Dante Stallworth throws the ball to Michael Lewis. He left from the 33, I think, but it's very close. I haven't seen a shot of it that would turn it over.
I agree.
Because they have to have indisputable visual evidence.
And it's not where he throws it, it's where possession is taken. So he throws it backwards, but by the time the ball is touched by Michael Lewis, was he still behind him? I think he was, but that is what they're looking at to determine.
Exactly. And again, you see he launches it. There's the 33 right there. And that's where he launches it. Right there. And the ball,
when he touches it,
it looks like it's about the 33. I mean, I just don't think they're going to be able to overturn it.
Go back to that clear visual evidence once again. And that doesn't appear to be enough if it in fact were.
Remember Aaron Brooks, who we just saw there when he came into the meeting yesterday? He sat down. He said, "We're going to the playoffs."
He guaranteed it.
Right. He said, "We're going to the playoffs."
How can you guarantee something that you have to win and other things have to happen? But he believed, and you know what? They keep making plays like that. maybe destiny is in their favor. When all hope appeared to be lost, ball on their own 25-yard line, 7 seconds left, no Joe Horn.
After reviewing the play, all the passes were either lateral or backwards, therefore legal. The touchdown counts.
And Dante Stallworth, Michael Lewis, Jerome Pathon, Aaron Brooks, Jim Haslett, all of the New Orleans Saints will get a chance to celebrate if
they make the
John Carney gets the extra point.
Because we've already seen, we saw a field goal by the Jaguars blocked earlier that was almost an extra point.
It was only 21 yards away and it was blocked, but now there's pressure on Carney to get the extra point and tie this ball game.
Don't forget, John Henderson on the inside there is 6'7".
Here's Mitch Berger, the holder. And he missed it! Can you believe that finish? John Carney had missed 5 of 7 field goals coming into this game. And Jim Haslett told us it was because he had trouble with his holder, Mitch Berger. I don't think they ever thought it would come down to him missing an extra point and having all their playoff hopes disappear.
Unbelievable. I tell you what, and you look at the hold on that ball, it looked like it's tilted to the right. Haslett told us that Carney has been complaining about Berger's hold. He says he holds it a little bit, about an inch or 2 off the mark where he likes it. Haslett told him to get through it.
So despite the Stanford band play, the Saints leave playing the blues. Their playoff hopes are gone after losing to Jacksonville 20-19. For my partner Tim Green, I'm Kurt Menefee. Let's send it out to LA and James Brown.